Bobo's here. So I'm going to be right up front with you today. I'm going to get my ass kicked for this, but I've had it kicked by experts, so here goes. I came to the realization here not too long ago that soon I'll be pre-flighting for my final flight west. Hopefully not in the near future, but it's coming. It happens to all of us, okay? So in that vein, I began paying a little more attention to the scripture. And I got turned on to the Torah written by Dennis Prager. Now, Dennis Prager is a scholar, and he's a Hebrew scholar. And he takes the first 5 books of the Bible and he expands them in such a rational way of understanding. I found it fascinating. So I started reading Genesis, and I'd get my coffee and sit down in the morning and plow through it. And here recently I came up to chapter 17. Now this is what fascinated me. Chapter 17 is almost entirely dedicated to circumcision. Who knew? Well, I didn't, because when I was on active duty and we go downstairs to the Auger Inn on Friday nights, I don't remember one instance where we would pull out a copy of Genesis and sit down and have different readings. It just didn't happen. So it kind of escaped me until here of late. So I'm reading this, chapter 17, and the whole thing focuses on circumcision. I'll be darned. Then, about a month ago, I started watching The Chosen on Netflix, and that was fascinating. And what was fascinating to me was that Jesus actually, as depicted in the series, had a sense of humor. Okay, I just felt a green light come on. So I got to thinking about this story I'd heard for years. So it kind of goes like this. Once God had explained to Abraham what he had in mind with respect to circumcision and so forth, he asked Abraham, okay, all this being said, do you have any questions? And Abraham thought for a minute and pondered for a second, and he looked up to God, and he says, yeah, he says, I think I've got it. He says, let me just go over a summary of it, if you will. God says, okay. He says, the way I understand it, you're going to give all the oil in the world to those guys that wander around aimlessly out in the desert, and you want us to cut the ends off our whats? Well, I didn't find that particular aspect of the story in chapter 17, but I'll keep looking, and if I find it, I'll report back to you. That being said, this is Bobo. Base gear stop. Keep your heads down.